Are you thinking about buying an Airbnb in the Cape May area in 2026? You're going to want to hear these 5 tips. The Cape May County vacation rental market has changed tremendously, even over the last few years. I'm Katie Ehrenberg. I'm a real estate broker and Airbnb investor in the Cape May area. Over the last years of owning and managing Airbnbs in the area, I've learned a lot. I want to help you not make the same mistakes that I did, but also prepare you for what the market actually looks like in 2026. Last year, we saw a lot of changes take place. The type and caliber of guests that we are seeing in the Cape May area is changing. Their expectations are higher than ever, and when they're coming to stay in this area, they just don't want a place to crash anymore. They want an experience. Guests are savvier than ever. They're comparing your property to boutique hotels, to all of the other rentals that are on the market. The Cape May area rental market is extremely saturated. Hosts that are doing these 5 things are setting their properties apart, but they're also gaining autonomy within their business and really setting themselves up for success for years to come. It's so important in this type of business to be able to make pivots and changes where necessary. I'm also seeing homeowners that have been doing Airbnb and vacation rentals for 10, 15 years, and they don't want to make these changes, and they're deciding to sell their properties. This is also giving a big opportunity to people who are looking to purchase Airbnb properties in 2026. To take on a property that was maybe underperforming but already has somewhat of a following, to jump into a property like that and maximize it with these tips that I'm about to give you, there's a lot of potential there. I started Airbnb investing in 2020 and the market was so much different. I did a lot of things that I believe were smart, but I also did a lot of things that probably weren't the best. So I'm really passionate about sharing all of the ups and downs that I've been through in the Airbnb market in Cape May, and sharing that information with you and with my clients so that you can hopefully bypass making some of the mistakes that I have. So I've put together 5 things that you need to be aware of before you purchase an Airbnb or investment property in the Cape May area. I've also created a guide, so don't worry, you can download that at the link below, and I hope this is helpful. So the first thing is location. Something that's very common that I see with my out-of-town investors is they say, oh, I want to buy a property in Cape May. Well, anyone who knows Cape May knows that that can mean different things to different people. So we have the island of Cape May, which we consider on island. There's West Cape May Point, North Cape May, Lower Township. So all of these different areas and neighborhoods that fall within that 08204 area code. So the first thing that I always say to my clients who are considering buying is, let's narrow down what you mean by location. So we talk about location and their investment goals. Oftentimes that means going and seeing a few different neighborhoods. Neighborhoods in Cape May are very, very different, and they're all going to provide a different range of not only how booked you are, they're all going to have a different price point, which is really important to consider when you're purchasing a property for investment purposes. Are you going to be able to get the nightly rate to sustain that investment and make it a good investment and worth your time? So those are the things that should be considered first. You could have a property in the Cape May area that's 4 blocks away from another one, and the one that's 4 blocks away is over and outperforming the one that is not as close to the water, not as close to restaurants. Maybe it's on a main road or a busy street. So these are all things to consider, and why it's really important to work with a local real estate professional if you're not from the area, so that you can make the most of your purchase. So when we talk about location in the Cape May area, what are the things that are important to people? Of course, they want to be close to the water. Some people want to be beachfront. Some people need to have a pool. Some people are okay with being along the Delaware Bay. Other people want to be within walking distance to shops, restaurants, bars. The number one tip that I give to my clients when they're considering location is, who is your ideal guest? What are the amenities that they are going to want? What are they going to be doing when they're on vacation? So you need to be considering things like beach proximity, access to local hotspots, and also residential versus seasonal neighborhoods. We have neighborhoods in the Cape May area that are very much residential. Those are things that should be considered. Is this going to be a good spot to have a Airbnb that sleeps 12 people in the middle of a residential neighborhood that maybe doesn't have great parking? I'm gonna say that's probably not the best idea. If you're in a more seasonal area where those things are more normal, where almost every house on the block is a vacation rental, then that's not so much of an issue. So understanding the difference between these more residential areas and the more seasonal areas like Cape May Point, Cape May proper, those are places that are very much mostly vacation rentals or seasonal homes. When we get into areas like North Cape May, Lower Township, the Villas area, we're really going to have to scout out the neighborhood and consider all of those different things like parking, how many people the house is sleeping. Are your neighbors mostly year-round or are they mostly seasonal? So these are all just these micro details that actually do matter. Number two is hospitality, and this is something I am massively passionate about. If you are purchasing a property as an Airbnb investment property in 2026, you are going to have to be in the hospitality business. Airbnb is no longer solely passive. People who are coming to the Cape May area want an experience, and there's a certain level of hospitality that has to go along with that. So number two, hospitality. Don't forget it. And what do I mean by hospitality? What hospitality means is you are thoughtfully thinking about the guest experience. What does that guest feel when they're coming into your home? What do you want them to feel? What amenities are you offering them? What basics are you offering them? One of the things that I do in my properties is I always offer a starter pack. And what is that? What's a starter pack? So when people come to our properties, they're always given toilet paper, paper towels, trash bags. We give coffee and tea, just things that get them started for their first few days so that when they get to our properties, they can drop their bags and relax. They're not having to run out to the store right away to grab paper towels or toilet paper. I think that in 2026, it's a given that you have to be providing your guests a basic level of amenities. I really focus on what I want the guests to feel when they're in our house. So I want them to feel just like what they are, a guest. How would I treat a guest that was in my own personal home? Hospitality is the business, not an afterthought. Everything that you build in this Airbnb and short-term rental business that you're making for yourself is based on hospitality. Of course, we need to have a smart investment when it comes to the real estate. Hospitality is that second layer that makes sure that your business is going to be profitable and successful for years to come. Successful Airbnbs feel like an experience. Guests want a clean and cohesive design. They want amenities like beach gear, beach chairs, beach toys, not having to lug those things down in their car. And they want easy, frictionless communication and check-ins. So things like smart locks, automated messaging, using AI in your business, which is a video for another day. Hospitality has to be a core and foundational thing for your business. Number three is property management. And no, this does not mean that you have to go out and hire a professional management company. That is not what I'm saying. But your property has to be managed well. And properties that are managed well stand out in the oversaturated Cape May area market. So what do I mean by managed well? Proper management can make or break your numbers. What's your plan for a guest not being able to get into the house at 1 a.m. because they forgot the door code or they lost a key? What's your plan for trash removal? What's your plan for changeovers? Do you have local trusted vendors that you can use? A lot of people that come and purchase properties from out of the area, those are things that you need to consider. If you're 2 hours away, who's going to be running over to your property when there's a problem? Running over all of these scenarios beforehand will save you so many headaches moving forward. So property management is about clear operational systems. It's about calendar management, revenue management, not just the management of the actual property. So in all of these things, we're again thinking about our guest experience. What is our guest experience? How are we making things easier and smoother for our guests? So things like trash and lawn management. Do you have people in place for that? Who's going to the property if something breaks? If a guest can't access the Wi-Fi or the cable, or they're having an issue with remotes, what are we doing to be prepared for those things in advance? So like the Boy Scout saying, failure to prepare is preparing to fail. And I want you to succeed. So putting a little bit of effort and thought into what your property management is going to look like is smart. This is a business for you. You need to treat it like a business. Have a business plan. And property management has to be high on your list when you're considering purchasing an Airbnb. Tips 4 and 5 are marketing and branding. And I'm putting these two together because they truly go hand in hand. I've spent thousands of dollars on marketing and branding my Airbnbs, and that has paid off. One of the main things that I've learned is that a well-marketed property that has a strong brand will outperform other properties on the market that aren't perceived as intentional. So what do I mean by that? You could have a wonderful property, but if it's not marketed correctly and branded well, it's not going to stand out in the sea of other Airbnbs. So what are some of the things that you can do? I'll start with branding. Branding your property is so important. I know that that can sound a little bit intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. I know that hearing words like branding and marketing can be a little bit intimidating, and you might be thinking, I want to invest in real estate. I didn't sign up for this. Well, if you want to be successful in 2026, you're going to have to incorporate these things into your business. So I'll start with branding. Branding is an important aspect of your business, and it doesn't have to be a big, expensive, overwhelming thing. When people ask me where to start with branding their property, the number one thing that I tell them is start with your ideal guest. What is your guest staying at your property for? Are they beachfront in Cape May? Are they Bayside in Villas? Who is that ideal guest? Kind of have fun with creating your ideal guest avatar and then brand according to that. So I'll give an example. You have a property that's along the Delaware Bay. It's a cute little bungalow. Maybe it's 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and sleeps 4 people. You are a dog lover and you want to incorporate that into your business. So you decide that you're gonna brand your property as this dog-friendly little oasis, right? So they can travel with their pet and they're going to experience just this home away from home when they're traveling with their pet. So people love that. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to make it clear who you are and what your property offers. So you could have, cute little branding within your Airbnb, within your photos, that you're marketing photos that clearly depict that you're dog friendly. You have little dog amenities. You could have, little paw prints or something in your branding and in your logo. Canva is free for the most part. I mean, don't reinvent the wheel if you're not, the most creative, but just putting that intention into it. Another thing that you could do is in your guidebook or your locals guide or your welcome guide, whatever you call it, you could have a list of dog-friendly places to go, dog-friendly places to eat, beaches to go to. All of those different things are a part of branding your property and having it stand out. So branding is a way to set your property apart. One of the biggest compliments that we get from guests is now that we have 4 properties of our own that we personally own and manage. Even though each property is a little bit different, guests know it's a Sea Haven property. So that's always a really big compliment to us. And we have properties that sleep 2 people and we have properties that sleep 8 people. So no matter what their needs are, they're knowing that if they go to any of our properties, they're gonna get that same experience. So that's something that you can replicate in your properties. We've talked about branding and how important that is. Now the final piece to that is marketing. And why is marketing so important? The reason marketing is so important is because you could have the best property, the best experience for guests. You could go above and beyond with hospitality, but if people don't know about your property, they're not gonna book it. So I could talk for hours about marketing and the systems that I've created for our personal business, but for the sake of this just being a quick tip and part of this video, there are pillars to your marketing that will set your property apart. So we'll start with Airbnb. For the most part, a lot of people are marketing their property on Airbnb. I like to think about Airbnb as a visibility platform. So we start with marketing our property there. We have excellent professional photos. We have a keyword and SEO optimized description. We have that branding built into it, like we talked about. And then we're using that to get our feet wet, get started, and get our guests through the door. Hopefully they're having an amazing experience and they're leaving 5-star reviews. Once we get those guests in our property, you have to have some type of way to continue to market to your guests. So what do I mean by that? You have to have a way to capture emails. That could be an opt-in for a digital guidebook. Your communication is also a great marketing tool. So all of our communication is automated on all of our different platforms. And we are always weaving in who we are, how to contact us, and really just giving that great experience so they know this is a professionally managed property. I know that I can reach out to them at any time, and I know that I'm getting the information that I need from them all the time. So you can do little things like create a Canva slide that is updated quarterly with all of the things that are going on in your area, or here's my summer hotspots that you need to go to, and here's where you can get live music. Work that back into your branding and how it will work together with your property. So there's all of these different ways that you can market and keep your name and your brand in front of your guests all year long. The goal being that they come back again and again, that they book for the next summer while they're already staying with you. This is guaranteeing you revenue. It's guaranteeing you the caliber of guests that you want. And it's guaranteeing that you're going to have a successful Airbnb and rental business for years to come. So that concludes my 5 tips for buying an Airbnb in the Cape May area in 2026. I hope that you found this video super helpful, and if you did and you want to subscribe, I'm going to keep putting out more information like this that helps you make the most informed decision so that your investment is profitable in 2026 and beyond.